The 2021 regular season is finally upon us after it felt like years of spring training baseball. Regular season baseball is back, Blue Jay fans. And it gets started tomorrow afternoon. It's a 1:05 first pitch at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hyun-Jin is on the mound for the Blue Jays, and Gerrit gets the ball for the Yankees. Not going to be an easy test by any means. But before we talk about this year and all the expectations and all the hype and all the question marks, if you guys are interested in watching my conversation with Blue Jays second round pick in 2020, CJ Van Eyck, I will be talking to him at 6 p.m. on the Blue Jay Center Instagram Live. If you guys want to check that out, if you're watching this right away and you see it and you want to go watch it, go ahead. If you get to it late, don't worry. It'll be on the feed or on the IGTV page. So go check that out on Blue Jay Center. And also, we'll be doing a post-game live stream. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to be on YouTube for you guys. So the link will be, I think it's on the Blue Jay Center page. So go check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun over the course of the season, talking baseball with so many different people. But let's get to this baseball team. Let's get to the Toronto Blue Jays team. And the big question I think that everybody wants to know, and the question I'm going to pose to all of you, will the Toronto Blue Jays make the postseason after 162 games? We saw after 62, they made the playoffs. But now you have 162 games, a full season schedule. Will this team be able to stay healthy enough, stay consistent enough in the American League to make the postseason? That's my question to you guys. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I truly believe yes, because I think they would have done it last year. And then with all the additions that they've made this season, I think it's very doable. Now, the question is, can they stay healthy and whatnot? And right away, the answer to that question is no, they have not been able to stay healthy. We all know that George Springer and Robbie Ray have been put, or at least George Springer's been put on the injured list for at least 10 days, but the expectation is after those 10 days, he comes right back. And I'm totally for that. I'm all for it. Even if the guy is 95% ready for opening day, I don't care. That guy, you dropped so much damn money on this guy for 6 years at $150 million. Why do you need to rush him out there for game one of the season, have him get injured again, because that oblique can be a real pain, and have it be a nagging injury the entire season, and land on the injured list, once, twice, maybe 3 times, where you can wait a 10-day span at the start of the year and then have him for 140 games or the rest of the year? That's what I'd prefer, and that is what they've decided to do with putting George Springer on the 10-day IL, unfortunately, but hey, I'd rather it happen now than a few times down the road and have it as a longer span. Robbie Ray is continuing to progress with the bruised elbow, but he's not ready to go. He will not be making the start in game 2 of the season against the Yankees. And Nate Pearson is still injured. And I truly believe, we talked about on the Jays Banner podcast, that Pearson's that X factor. Pearson is that guy that, hey, if you bring him into the rotation and he can give you the stuff that Nate Pearson can give you, that gives you a legit number 2 behind Ryu, and it allows Robbie Ray and guys like Ross Stripling and all the other guys kind of to relax a little bit. There's not as much weight on their shoulders because you have guys going out there and doing their job, and the big guys, Ryu and Pearson, are going out there against the big guys of the other teams and doing a job, right? But if you don't have Pearson, and right now we don't have Robbie Ray, it's going to be a really interesting start to this year for the Blue Jays. I think that's the easiest way to put it. We don't know how this team's going to look like health-wise the entire season. Rotation-wise, we're all kind of biting our nails because we think this team does not look very good at the rotation spot right now with Robbie Ray and Pearson not pitching. But the question is, you might get some surprises. Ross Stripling put some great innings together there in the spring. TJ Zoik was great in the spring. And those 2 guys are making game 2 and 3 starts, in the rotation against the Yankees. Ross Stripling will be going on Saturday afternoon against Corey Kluber. And TJ Zoik will be going on Sunday afternoon against Domingo Germán. So, look, TJ Zoik has had some very good games in the past in the big league. So I'm okay with him going in game 3. Good news is we don't have to see Tanner Roark until the next series. He'll be going out there against the Texas Rangers, I'm assuming. Shocked Trent Thornton didn't make the rotation, but I think because he didn't get enough innings in, he didn't get stretched out enough, it does kind of make sense. But I wanted to break all these things down, right? Because I have bullpen depth written down here, and we'll start right there. Because that's one of the big positives going into the Blue Jays heading into this season. We know the negative is rotation. I could sit here and talk for hours about how the rotation is, the depth is good, but the top-notch talent is not there. But the bullpen, however, is very good. Even with the Blue Jays losing Kirby Yates to Tommy John surgery, they still have a damn good bullpen. Romano's a beast. Dolis is a beast. We've learned that Merriweather, when he's healthy, is an absolute monster. And you can go down the list, and David Phelps has been good. Tim Mays has had an unbelievable spring training. There are so many guys that you can say, hey, this guy's going to be good. Hey, this guy's going to be good. Because they have really good stuff. So I think if we're looking at the bullpen depth for the Blue Jays, I think that's going to be so important. Especially early in this season with guys like Ray and Pearson not being able to go 5 innings or 6 innings. Because the odds of you getting that out of Stripling, Zoik, and guys like Tanner Roark are not very high. They're not very good, those chances. So you're going to need guys like Anthony Kay, Ryan Baracki, maybe even a Julian Merriweather to give you some innings, right? They might need to eat it. Trent Thornton. They might need to give you some innings, after a Stripling, after a Zoik, coming in for Roark after he gives up 7 runs in a couple innings. You might need that. And the Blue Jays have it. So that's where I'm sitting here like, hey, look, if Charlie sniffs trouble at all, he has all these weapons to go to if he needs to. And I'm totally okay with that. Now, would I love to have 5 stars that I trust out there to go 5, 6 every night? Of course I would. But that's just not the reality of what the Blue Jays are dealing with right now. The bullpen looks great. The starting pitching is a giant question mark heading into this year. We're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out, though. Now, another thing I got is Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s breakout season. Every year, Blue Jay fans, analysts, whatever the case, say, hey, we feel like this is the year for Vladdy. Hey, this is the season that Vladdy's going to break out and be the guy we saw in the minor leagues. Well, I'm going to wait and see. I'm always going to be onto that category because spring training numbers are one thing, and Vladdy had a stupid spring training. He was unreal all spring, and that's awesome. You got to remember, Vladdy has a career batting average in spring training. I know some people hate the batting average, like Rob from our podcast. He hates the batting average stat, but I'm going to use it because that's what fans know. He's like a 380 to 360 career batting average in spring training. Kind of gives you an idea of what he does during that March month. And sometimes late February. He rips it. And that's great, right? You want to get off to a red hot start, but now you want to see it in the regular season. I truly believe this is the breakout season for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I've said it in the past that I think this is his year. I think losing all this weight, I myself, not tap my shoulder, tap on my back or whatnot, but I've lost about the same amount of weight as Vladdy lost. And you definitely feel a difference. And for him, a guy who's, got to play 160, well, he's not going to play 140, let's say, you got to be more nimble. And I think with him losing the weight, I think with him putting in the work the way he has this offseason and the spring that he's put together, I truly believe he's going to keep that momentum heading into the season. Now, the question is, will he do so? Obviously, it's a whole wait and see game with Vladdy, but I think he's taking a lot of great strides. And I think we keep forgetting, the guy's 22 years old. He literally just turned 22. This guy's not like an 8-year vet where he's 29, 30, right in his prime. Like, okay, where is he? He's 22. I understand all these other guys at 22 are ripping it up or whatnot. Some people learn at a different pace. Look at Teoscar Hernandez. He's a great example. And speaking of Teoscar Hernandez, after a Silver Slugger Award season last year, can he even take that next step? Right? That's always the big question for Teoscar Hernandez, right? We talked about it last season, how this is a great year. This looks like the new Teoscar Hernandez. But we only saw it in a 62-game schedule. Now let's see it in 162 games where he's expected to probably go about 140, 135 games a year. So what's he going to do over that span? Is he going to be a consistent 290 hitter, hit you 40 bombs, be an unbelievable player like he was for that short time last season? Or is he going to be great for half the year, or is he going to revert back to what he was before? Because we've seen so many times in the big leagues, and even with the Toronto Blue Jays, guys sometimes have 1 year, and then they kind of die off. Look at Michael Saunders for the Blue Jays. Remember that? Where he made the All-Star team for half the season, went to the All-Star game, came back, it was absolutely abysmal the rest of the season, and he was no good. Remember Alex Rios, Jays fans, back in the day we went to the All-Star game, went to the home run derby, couldn't hit a bomb the rest of the season. Things happen over a course of 162 games. It's not just in a straight line. There are bumps, there are valleys. The question is, can a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, who won a Silver Slugger award last year, be that guy? Be that guy that won a Silver Slugger last season. Can he be the same guy? And that's the big question mark for him going into this year. I think he can. I think if he lays off those dumb pitches down and away, those off-speed pitches, and lays off that high fastball, and he had a much better eye at the plate last year, if he can do that, I think the sky's the limit for the kid. But the question is, can he do it? And I think he can. All right? Now, who else we got here? Marcus Semien. Obviously, he's had a very good spring, especially with the power. And with a guy like George Springer out of the lineup, that just adds more. He needs to impact this team a lot more. He's probably going to be your number one guy in the lineup. It would have been Springer on opening day. Semien would have been somewhere else, whether he would have been in the 2-hole, whether he would have been down to the 6-hole, or 3rd, or whatever, right in the middle. I don't know. But with Springer out of the lineup for at least the first 10 days of the year, do not be surprised if Marcus Semien is leading off tomorrow for the Toronto Blue Jays. And I have faith in the guy because I think I've seen enough of him in the spring training to know that this guy can hit. Question is, can he do it for a team that's going for a pennant or going for a playoff spot in the early goings of the season? Those are the question marks. But I truly believe that he can. I really do believe that Marcus Semien can put everything together as a Blue Jay. I got this gut feeling inside me that there's really not a lot of pressure on the guy because he's got a lot of weapons around him. And that's what we're talking about Vladdy as well. You know, he's surrounded with a lot of great players. It's not like he's the focal point of the offense. There's so many different guys. So for a guy like Semien, yeah, I think he'll be just fine. There's so many guys we can talk about when it comes to the Blue Jays and question marks and hype and who's going to do what, who's going to do not. But I'm going to get to some key ones. And something that I've brought up to, I think I brought it up to Rash Madani and Ben Wagner. We had them on the Instagram Live. I brought it up on the last podcast on Jay's Banner. And I'll bring it up again on my video. With Danny Jansen and Alejandro Kirk being that 1-2 punch because Kirk officially made the team, if Danny Jansen is not hitting the way he did in the minor leagues, and so far in his career he is not, and Alejandro Kirk goes out there and does a decent job behind the plate and he hits, how much you want to bet midseason Danny Jansen is the backup catcher? Or, I understand, that these guys are, Ryu's been catching Jansen all last season, so that's probably going to be the thing. So they might split time. But you might see a lot of Jansen to start the season, with Kirk coming in once in a while, or him to DH, or whatever the case. But do not be surprised if mid-year, if Jansen is not hitting the ball well, that Kirk gets more time behind the plate. The guy's, 22, 23 years old. He's shown us all that the guy can handle a bat like the best of anybody. Behind the plate, he's not as nimble, chunkier fella, but he's fine behind the plate. Doesn't do anything too bad behind the dish. And Robbie Ray seems to love working with Alejandro Kirk when he's healthy, of course. So it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I'm going to give Jansen that edge, though, because he's got the defensive stats. He was a Gold Glove finalist a couple of years back now. And he's been around longer. Kirk was only up for half a season last year, which literally was like a quarter of an actual season. So Jansen, it's going to take some time for Kirk to get to kind of be ahead of Jansen in that kind of the depth charts. But for Danny Jansen, you now have competition. You didn't before with guys like Reese McGuire and Caleb Joseph and guys. You didn't have that before. Now you do. So get going with the bat, and then wouldn't that be something? If both guys start to hit well, and then you got to make a choice, hey, that's a great position the Blue Jays can be in. But again, question marks. Can Kirk continue the success he's been on since joining the big leagues? Can Jansen find a way to hit the big league level? If he can find a way to hit the way he plays defense, Jansen can be an unbelievable catcher in this game. Question is, can he hit? And we're going to have to wait and see how this year plays out. What else do I have here? Offensive hype, the overall offense. Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, Rowdy Tellez, all the names that I haven't mentioned as of yet. Can this offense live up to the hype? Because we keep hearing, the top 5 offense in baseball. Oh, this team looks really good. Pitching's not great, but they're going to have to hit, bomb after bomb after bomb or get 10 runs a night. Or blah. Can this team do it? It's not going to be easy. I'm going to be blatantly honest with you guys because not many of these guys are proven. Like Semien, yeah, he's a proven guy. He had one great season in 2019. Last year was down, but I don't really count last year. Springer, you know what you're going to get from him on any given night. Bo Bichette hasn't technically played a full year in the big leagues. If you go back to his last couple of seasons, he has not played a full year. Vladdy hasn't hit at the level he's never hit at an all-star level. Kevin Biggio, yeah, the walks are great, never hit at extreme levels. Rowdy Tellez has never, been a consistent hitter. So yeah, the offense looks great on paper with all the numbers. Question is, can this team put it together and all these young guys take that next step? That's the question mark. I think they can, obviously. They're young guys and they've done a lot of work in the offseason. But that's the question mark. Is the hype real? Yeah, it definitely is. You know what this team is capable of, and you added a Springer and a Marcus Semien. The offense hype is definitely real. The question is, can they put it together? And we're all going to learn that starting tomorrow. It's going to be look, don't expect them to score 10 runs tomorrow because you got Gerrit Cole on the mound, but this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, and the last thing that I have here, guys, the last thing I'm going to talk about before I wrap this up and just kind of leave it all to you guys is my predictions. I'm not gonna make specific predictions for players because that's kind of hard to do. And if you listen to our Jays Banner podcast, we already did a lot of that. So go check it out on iTunes or any of your favorite podcast apps. Go check that out. Jays Banter. And my prediction for this season, it's tough. I truly believe this team can be a 90 to 95 win team because it seems like, at least in the spring, I think they led the MLB in wins in the spring. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but they struggled a little bit against the Yankees. If you can beat down on these other teams and maybe lose every game to the Yankees, you'll still be a very good team. But I truly believe this offense and the pitching at times, when healthy, can get this team over the hump. A 90 to 95 win team is definitely a playoff team. I think they can definitely make the playoffs. If the Blue Jays miss the playoffs this year, I think without a doubt in my mind, I think every Jays fan's mind, is a failure of a season. You basically kept the same roster from last season, and you added Springer and you added Semien. So, you know what I mean, guys? It's like, I truly believe that they can make the playoffs in 162. I don't see any other team below them. Like we saw last year, right? There were these big name teams, but then there was teams behind them. You're like, these guys are no good. Like the Jays can really kind of take the reins and take it all the way here. Would not surprise me if they do it again this season. The question is, can they stay healthy and put it all together? 162 games is a long time. A lot of things are going to happen. The Jays can go on a 12-game win streak. They can also go on a 6-game losing streak. Things like that are going to happen over 162 games. The question is, does this team have the adversity, and can they do it on a consistent basis? Can they, win 3, lose 1, or win 4, lose 1, lose 2, but then win 5? Can they do those types of things? Great teams in sports find ways to do that. The question is, how's this team going to look? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. Tomorrow afternoon, 1:05 first pitch at Yankee Stadium is game 1 of 162. All right, between the Jays and Yankees, Ryu and Cole is the pitching matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and are jacked up for Blue Jays baseball, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the upcoming season, anything that I touched on here, anything I didn't touch on that you guys want to mention in the comments, go crazy. And let me know your predictions. What do you think the record's going to be? I think they're going to be a 90-95 win team. That's my gut feeling. Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? Do you think they're going to miss the playoffs? I don't know. Who's that X factor? Mine's been Nate Pearson. Who's yours? Let me know in the comments below, all right? Twitter is down below for my cell phone. Send me a DM to that great stuff. Also, the Instagram link is down below, so follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Raptors edition tonight. They are facing off against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not sure what time they're playing. It's either 7:30 or 8, I think it is. They just look to win a basketball game, period. As for the Leafs, they play tonight as well. They're playing 7:30 in Winnipeg, taking on the Jets. Going to be a big one, though. All right, in Winnipeg, as the Jets and Leafs face off at 7:30. The Leafs will get back into the win column and keep their point streak alive at 5 games. They're 3-0-1 in their last 4. Look to get back into the win column, but keep the point streak alive. All right, so thank you. And as for the Blue Jays, what am I stopping there for? The Blue Jays take on the Yankees, as I've mentioned quite a few times in the video. 1:05 first pitch tomorrow afternoon. Jays, Yankees, Ryu, Cole. Game 1 of 162. You guys ready? I know I am, all right? So thank you so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.